Hi everyone, thank you for joining this webinar. We might wait a couple minutes as some people come through and then we'll get started. Okay, we will get started now. Thank you everyone for joining us today as we learn about healthcare redesign, studying here at the University of Tasmania. I'd like to remind you all that this webinar is being recorded and a recording will be emailed to you in the next couple of weeks once it's all finalised. And if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, we do have a little Q&A box down the bottom of your screen. So please type your questions into there and we can answer them as we go or at the end of the webinar as well. Next slide, Sarah. Sorry, that's all good. Thank you. I'd like to start today's webinar with an acknowledgement of country, understanding that everyone joining us could be from all areas, but where I am in Launceston, Tasmania, I acknowledge the Palawa Pakana people of Lutruwita as the traditional owners and custodians of the land upon which I'm working today. We pay our respects to elders past and present as the knowledge holders and sharers. We honour their strong culture and knowledge as vital to the self-determination, well-being and strengths of their communities. And we stand for a future that profoundly respects and acknowledges Aboriginal perspectives, culture, language and history. And I'd like to pass over to Associate Professor Sarah Pryor, who will be speaking today on healthcare redesign. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Lily, and thanks, everybody. Sorry, I've just lost my screen, of course, in the last 10 seconds, so give me 2 seconds to get that back up. But as Lily said, I'm Associate Professor Sarah Pryor. I'm the Director and Course Coordinator of the Healthcare Redesign program at the University of Tasmania. And I'm going to talk to you today a bit about our courses and healthcare redesign in general. All right, I think I'm back up and running. So what is healthcare redesign, firstly? Essentially, it is as it sounds. So healthcare redesign is a systematic way of redesigning health services. It's an evidence-based approach to health service improvement. And it's based on processes used in manufacturing, transport and aviation, such as Lean or Six Sigma, which are two that you've probably heard of before. So these particular processes have been adapted for use in healthcare, and we term that healthcare redesign. So the thing that really sets healthcare redesign apart from other approaches to change or improvement is that redesign assumes we don't know the solution to a problem. So we call it a problem-solving methodology. It's a systems-based approach, and it focuses on improving existing services and processes within current resources through meaningful and sustainable change, which then hopefully lead to better outcomes. So these outcomes can be for patients, for families, staff, services, organisations, and can also include things like clinical outcomes, improved experiences, or economic outcomes, for example. So healthcare redesign has 5 distinct phases where we start with identifying what the problem or problems are and then mapping the process around that problem. So that could be mapping a patient journey or mapping an administrative process, for example. An example of a problem that we might look at for a project in healthcare redesign is something like current systems and processes for communication between clinicians seems to have a detrimental effect to the patient journey, resulting in long delays and potential adverse events. So what we do with that problem statement that we've come up with is we then undertake what we call a diagnosis of that problem. So what is the evidence to support the problem that we've identified? And that ensures that we have a really good understanding from a whole range of perspectives about what is actually currently happening within that process. We then use that information and a whole range of engagement strategies and tools to develop evidence-based solutions to that identified problem. And then the final 2 phases of redesign are the implementation of those solutions and then evaluating the outcomes of implementing those solutions, both short-term and long-term. So the University of Tasmania offers a graduate certificate in healthcare redesign, which is a project-based work integrated learning course where you will undertake an improvement project that is fully supported. So that happens within your own workplace, or if you are not in a position to do that within your workplace, we do offer virtual, so online projects. So this course is the first of its kind in Australia, and we have been delivering it since 2016. And students within our course come from a really broad range of disciplines. So anything from nursing and allied health, medicine, admin, leadership, pharmacy, radiology. We have students from IT and business, from oral health and from paramedicine at the moment. And there are lots more that have come through the course as well. So within the graduate certificate, we aim to build your skills and knowledge within your workplace, but also build those skills so they're transferable to healthcare more broadly. We aim to create positive change within health services and not to health services. So working with the organisations and our industry partners in this way means that we can actually make meaningful change that is sustainable, whilst also giving staff or students the opportunity to attain that postgraduate qualification. So the Healthcare Redesign program is set apart by the way in which it's delivered, but also the outcomes that we can achieve. So students who undertake our courses develop redesign skills based on methodology with proven outcomes for organisations, for staff, and of course for patients and their families or carers. As a teaching team, we fully support students through their workplace projects. So something that has been identified as a need in their work area, and also something that aligns with the organisational strategy and values. The course itself is delivered in what we call a blended model. So that's a combination of online learning, workplace learning, and optional face-to-face learning. The graduate certificate consists of 4 units, which I'll talk a bit about in the next slide, and can be completed in 1 to 2 years, depending on how many units you study at once and what semesters you study in. You can complete the course fully online, or you can participate in face-to-face days where they are offered. So this slide gives you a little bit of an overview of each of the units in the graduate certificate. The first unit is an introduction to healthcare redesign theory and approaches. It's fully online, and it looks at change management, leadership, and systems thinking quite broadly. And then the following 2 units are the project units. So this is where you'll start to delve into those 5 phases of redesign and get your project off the ground. So these are also the 2 units that have the optional face-to-face masterclasses, but these masterclasses are also provided online for students who are unable to attend face-to-face or prefer to study fully online. And the final unit in the grad cert, again, is delivered fully online, and it focuses on the translation of research into practice. It looks at implementation science and how we can successfully translate knowledge into practice in healthcare and health services. So as I mentioned a couple of times, we do offer those face-to-face learning days based around the project units for any organisation that has 10 or more students enrolled, and where 10 or more students accept an invite to the face-to-face masterclass. So generally we run these classes in Brisbane 2 to 3 times a year, in Sydney 2 to 3 times a year, and in Tasmania 2 to 3 times a year. But we are certainly open to travelling elsewhere in Australia if we have a group of students who are willing and able to attend. So the Healthcare Redesign teaching team are a pretty passionate group of educators, which I think is one of the reasons why we work so well with health organisations and our industry partners. We really care about improving service delivery, improving experiences, and also improving outcomes in health. And as part of that, we really want you to get the most out of this course. So we provide lots of opportunities for in-depth discussions within units, project discussions or one-on-one discussions, conversations with our teaching staff to help really set you up for success. And as previous clinicians, we also know that it's important to learn while you are doing in healthcare. That experiential learning is really valuable for problem solving as well. So our teaching team at the moment includes a midwife, a dietitian, a stroke research fellow, and 2 virologists, which is purely by coincidence. So we do have a bit of a wide range of clinical skills and clinical knowledge. I've just popped some examples of some of the projects that have been undertaken by our students on this slide, just to show you the breadth and depth of the projects that are happening within healthcare redesign. So some of these projects we've seen from students range from redesigning postnatal depression education, looking at process for OT, rehabilitation referrals, delivering optimised nursing and midwifery recruitment strategies, improving access to addiction and substance use services, and many more. We have started moving more into the primary care space and into the aged care space, so it'll be very exciting to look at those projects as well. As I said, we do have students from a really wide variety of areas throughout nursing, allied health and medicine, as well as support services, executive and admin. And you can see that all of these projects are quite diverse and tailored to meet the individual needs of the student and their organisations, which is why this course can be so valuable for healthcare professionals. The recommended study pathway for the graduate certificate is 1 unit per semester. We do offer 3 semesters in this course, so semester 1, semester 2, and what we call a trimester, which runs from November to the end of January, early February. The study load per unit is approximately 8 hours a week. So you're looking at 1 full day of study per week for each of the units. And we do allow group projects. So if within your department or your organisation there are a group of people wanting to work on one large redesign project, then we can certainly cater for that. It does mean that those projects are a little bit bigger in scope. So currently we offer a 50% fee waiver scholarship for students in a number of Australian organisations, healthcare organisations. So we do have a list of our industry partners on the UTAS website. And all of our courses and units are supported by Commonwealth supported places as well. So it makes for a very cost-effective graduate certificate. The out-of-pocket costs can be paid upfront for each unit or can be accumulated and paid over time using the HECS help process as well. For anyone who's interested in learning a bit more about healthcare redesign without yet applying for a full postgraduate qualification, we do have a free online course available anytime for anyone. And this MOOC, or Massive Open Online Course, is worth 18 hours of CPD. And it's aimed to take about 6 weeks to complete, looking at about 3 hours of study a week. Once you are enrolled in the MOOC, you will have access to the content indefinitely, so it doesn't expire at any point in time. And I do highly recommend having a look at the MOOC if you're interested in the course, as it does give you a really good overview of what to expect as part of your redesign journey. Also, just to mention, we do offer 3 levels of qualification: a graduate certificate, which I've talked about today, graduate diploma, and a master's degree in healthcare redesign. All of our courses are delivered online with those optional face-to-face days at the grad cert level. And the grad dip and masters focus more on the evaluation of health service improvement, and we do have coursework and research pathways within those degrees as well. So if you have any questions or queries about anything to do with the healthcare redesign courses or the approach to change in general that you think of after the webinar today, please feel free to contact me anytime. And I think that's it for me. So thank you everyone for coming along. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about my passion, which is healthcare redesign, health service improvement. And if you are wanting to apply for any of our courses, we will pop a direct link in the chat for you today as well.
Thank you, Sarah. So we've got the apply link into the chat now. Thanks, Lara. With our application portal, it is quite a straightforward process online. If you go to that link, you need to tell us 3 key pieces of information: what you've studied in the past, if you've studied something in the past, and who you are, and then what you're hoping to study next with us. And then you wait to receive an offer. If there's any troubles with receiving an offer, we'll contact you about pathways and other options into that course. And then you can enroll. Enrollments for next year are open at the moment. And if you do have any questions about anything of those three stages with your application process, please do reach out to someone at the university and we will be more than happy to support you with that process, or find someone who will be best suited to help you with that as well. We might just stay on for a little bit to see if anyone has any questions. So if you go down to the bottom of your screen, there should be a Q&A little button. If you click on that, you can type your questions in there and then we can answer them for you.
I have popped in as well, Lily and Sarah, the MOOC. So it's a massive long link in the chat. So I tried to downsize it but couldn't. So that one's in there, and our partner details are also in there as well. But just while we wait for any questions to come in, I was just wondering, Sarah, if there's anything that is frequently asked from your perspective that someone might be thinking about, but they don't know if that's a question to ask or not. Yeah, just if there's anything from your perspective that you often get asked.
Yeah, so we do get a lot of questions around the projects in particular. Some people who might already be undertaking a project or about to start a project are interested in knowing whether we can work with that existing project, so that they don't have to start afresh. And that is something that we can do. So if you are planning a project already or you have already started one, we can work with you to apply the healthcare redesign methodology or approach to the existing project, which means you don't have to do a whole new project when you come into the course. As I said, we do offer a lot of opportunities to have one-on-one discussions with our unit coordinators about projects, what they look like, how we can retrofit or fit existing projects and resources into what we're doing. So very happy to talk about that as well.
Awesome, thank you. And Lily, entirely your call, but there's been no questions come through. So yeah, up to you whether you'd like to wait a little bit longer or we wrap up.
One, I guess, last little thing to note before we do end, is that it can be quite daunting, going into postgrad studies and going back to uni if it's been a little while or even if it hasn't. But we have so many different services available to support you through your study journey, whether this be academic support and study support through our learning advisors, or career support through Career Connect and our student portal, or also wellbeing and counselling services as well. We have a huge range of supports available, and so yes, please, if you do have any questions or concerns about anything to do with starting uni, please do reach out to someone and we can try and help you out our best we can. And with scholarships as well, I know Sarah's touched on a couple already, but we have a wide range of scholarships. So please do hop onto our scholarships website and read through some of those. There might be some additional ones that you are eligible for as well.
Just really quickly, sorry to interrupt, Lily. There was a question there from Joby and I did answer it. But yes, this will be recorded and it will be sent out hopefully in a few days' time. But yeah, just keep an eye on emails for anyone that has registered, regardless of whether you've been able to make it to the webinar today or not. You will receive a recording to have a look over this again as well.
Lovely. Thank you, Lara. Well, we might end there. Thank you all so much for joining us today for our healthcare redesign webinar.
One more, Lily, sorry.
Okay.
When do we need to enroll by? So applications are already open. No, please don't be sorry at all for the question. So applications are currently open at the moment, but enrollment can be done up until when, Sarah?
Week 2 of semester, which will be essentially the first week in March.
Cool. We always say to not leave it to that late.
Yes.
Because it's a lot harder to get through the process as the closer it is to the semester starting or semester has started. So application open at the moment, and then enrolment is also open as well and has been for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, it is all open at the moment, but you do have until that March timeframe to enroll. Yeah. and we're good.
Lovely. Thank you
I
all.
think we're good now, Lily.
We're good. I think so.
Thanks,
Please
Jovi.
do, when the recording is emailed out, you will have some details there you can contact as well if you have any questions that pop up today or in the next coming couple of weeks. So please do reach out. Otherwise, have a great afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us, and you'll hear from us soon with a recording.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Lily. Bye.
Bye.